Hello everyone, Stacey Mayer here from Stacey Mayer Coaching. I am coming to you live today to talk about my secret to being seen as an influencer in your organization before you actually are one. Let me tell you a little bit about myself if you don't already know me. I coach women to upper level management positions. So I essentially get women promoted in their companies. And last week I had a really fantastic 5-day challenge called Unleash Your Power in my private Facebook group. I'm very tongue-tied this morning, been out running around. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. So anyway, so we had this 5-day challenge. It was absolutely incredible. And I talked about in this challenge, if you're interested, by the way, you can still register. Let me write that in here because in case you're interested, you can get all the replays. It was really awesome. 5 days of content with like 5 hours of content, crazy. But anyway, we talked about on day 3, I think, about aligning yourself with the influencers in your organization. And I talked about understanding who those people are and making sure that those people know your name and know what you're working on. That seems like a no-brainer, right? But then I thought about it this weekend and I was like, there's no reason that you can't already be the influencer in your organization now. So let me explain a little bit what I mean by an influencer versus a thought leader. So you'll hear me talk a lot about coming up with ideas and being a thought leader for your organization. But an influencer is that person that upper level management actually comes to for information. And did you know that influencers can be sprinkled throughout your entire company? They can be in anywhere. They could be a front desk person. So think of it this way. So you have a person at the front desk and they're the first people to see anyone when it comes to hiring. I used to be in theater and they said, never piss off the person who signs you in, right? So you want to make sure that you're nice if you're interviewing for a job to the person at the front desk, and not just nice, but like be open, get to know that person, ask them a few questions, because just maybe the hiring manager might be coming to that front desk person and asking them for their opinion about you. So that makes that front desk person essentially an influencer. Another example of an influencer is, I actually know somebody here in San Francisco. Now you can imagine this, it's at a very, very large tech company in San Francisco, and they have an SVP that works for them, and his main job is to watch different departments. So he comes in when something's not quite growing right, and he oversees that department for a couple of weeks and reports back to the CEO. Now, why does he have this job? He has it for a couple of reasons. One is he's one of the original founding members of the company. So he's been around for a long time. The CEO knows him really well. But another reason that he has this job is because his opinion matters, because he's given good advice to the CEO in the past. So his opinion is constantly being sought after. Now, I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can start being seen as the influencer at your organization. Does that seem like fun? Does it? I mean, the really cool thing about it is that once you start to be an influencer and your opinion starts to matter, can you see how this would make going to work a lot more enjoyable? If this feels exciting to you, write in the comments, let me know, yes, exclamation point, exciting, can't wait to be an influencer. So what I'm going to teach you today with these 3 steps is that I'm going to teach you a way to look inside and to see how you already are an influencer. So one of the things that happens, I'd say 50% of my clients, that's not an exact statistic, but let's say at least half of my clients have been with their companies for 15, 20 years. Now, I live in Silicon Valley, and so this is unheard of, right? I do see some people. I also live in Berkeley, so we have people at the university who've been there for 20 years, but oftentimes at tech companies, being at a tech company for 20 years is crazy. But there are so many women who are still working at the same company that they started out as, but they're not getting the recognition that they deserve. So they reach out to me and they say, hey, Stacy, can you help me figure this out? Because I feel like I have a lot to offer, but I'm not getting recognized for it. So essentially what they're asking me to do is to become an influencer. They want their opinion to matter. They want management to come to them first and actually ask for their opinion. So the number one way that you can start being seen as an influencer at your organization right away is by figuring out what your leverage is. So this can come from a couple of different places. It can come from your tenure at the organization, like maybe you've been there for 15 years, you've seen the ups and downs, you've rode out the bad times, you've been there for the good times. So you understand the lifespan of the company and where they're headed, all the acquisitions, different things like that. That's another way that you can figure out your leverage. Like say you were acquired and you came from a different company and now you're in your current organization. So you have a different point of view. You have something else to offer the situation. Or maybe you came from a different industry, or maybe you came from a different background. So figuring out where you can leverage your experience. So whatever that is, maybe you've been there for a long time, maybe you were from a previous company and they got acquired, or maybe you've been from a different industry. So that always gives you a different point of view. So now that's number one, is figuring out what your sweet spot is, what you have to offer in this sort of opinion game of being an influencer. And then the number two thing that you can do is understand what actually needs to happen. So you can ask if you can audit meetings. You can start to look at the website, follow the Facebook page. How many of you actually follow LinkedIn for your company to see what they're actually putting out there? Have conversations with HR. Ask them what actually matters to the company. Figure out what is important to them, what their mission is, what they're driving. So this is a lot of homework. This is you understanding the intricacies and the needs of the organization inside and out. You can also understand trends in the industry. I took a journalism class, maybe 5-6 years ago at Stanford. And the teacher talked about figuring out trends. And read any article in a magazine and they talk about how this thing is happening all over the industry right now. So figure out what trends are happening in the industry and how they apply to your organization. So you're starting to almost think like a journalist, right? Think like an investigator. So you're understanding this. So number one, figure out what your leverage is, what your experience tells you. Number two, get in there and figure out what actually matters to the industry, to the company. And now, number three, you have to actually start to present this information to somebody, besides your boss. That is the biggest thing that I want you to remember and take away from this. If you want to be seen as an influencer at your organization, you have got to start sharing your opinions, start sharing your ideas with people other than your boss. Your boss knows everything about you. And the number one thing that could be keeping you from getting a promotion right now could actually be your boss. Because if nobody else knows you, nobody knows about the influence that you have, nobody knows about the ideas that you have except for your boss, it makes it very hard for her to put you up in front of management, to actually put you up for a promotion. Other people have to support her as well in her decision to put you up. So you want to get in front of other people. You want to start telling people about your ideas. And even if it's just asking questions and being like, oh my gosh, I remember when this happened like 10 years ago, right? So it says that you've been with the company for a long time. It's a good thing when you've been with the company for a very long time. That is not a bad thing. The other way that you could do it is you could present. So I have clients that actually give regular presentations. If you have an opportunity to give a PowerPoint or actually do a presentation, I have another client who does webinars, and she did this all on her own. They're sort of lunch and learn webinars because her company has a site where you can put different things. And the great thing about that is it allows her to put her ideas together, to get them cohesively, to figure out what her leverage is when she talks about her bio and why you should listen to her for this information. So number one, these are all the different ways that you can start leveraging yourself and become an influencer at your organization today. Number one, figure out what your leverage is. Have you been there for a long time? Have you come from a different industry? Did you come from a different company? Anything that gives you outside information or inside information as to what might be best for the organization. Remember, an influencer is people who they come to for their opinions. Number two, you want to make sure that you understand the needs of the organization, that you understand what's important to them, that you know all the intricacies of it. So ask to audit meetings, ask to meet with leadership, ask them questions. If the CEO is given a presentation, watch it. Follow the LinkedIn group for your company. Follow the Facebook group. Understand what it is. Go to HR. Have a conversation with them. These are all the different ways that you're understanding what the needs of the organization are. And number three, start to share yourself with people other than your boss. So give a big presentation. Allow information to come out at meetings. Now we have a responsibility to tell people why we have these ideas. It's not just like, oh, you should listen to me because I'm Stacy and I have something really important to say, but it's like, no, I also have experience. I've also seen over the last 20 years being at this company, I've seen the different ups and downs. And this reminds me of in 2002 when we did this XYZ, right? So tie it back to something as you're presenting it. Let them know why you have this expertise. And then before you know it, they're going to start to come to you with those ideas. They're going to ask you for your opinion. They're going to ask you to weigh in on situations because you know what? You become the influencer. You are the other side of the coin. So start thinking about it. Start thinking about how you can leverage your strengths and leverage your experience. Start thinking about how you can get more information and start thinking about how you can start presenting that information to others. Let us know here in the comments. Let us know what you have in mind, what you plan to do, and certainly let us know how it goes. Now, if this information has been exciting for you and you really, really want to be seen more as an influencer so that you can just get up in the morning and you know the value that you have, you know why you're going to work, and your work actually matters because people care about your opinion, then hop on a phone call with me. It's a free 50-minute phone call where we're going to map out exactly what's going on for you. If you feel stuck right now, I'm going to show you why you are stuck. I do these phone calls 5, 6, 7 times a week. So I am seeing and mapping out decisions in 70 million different ways. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. So we're going to get on this call. It's completely no obligation. The call is just the call. But if you want to dive deeper and you really want to see how I can support you to become this influencer at your organization, then I'll talk to you about my one-on-one coaching program. But the first step is scheduling a discovery call. I'm going to put that here in the comments so that you know exactly how you can schedule it. This is my online calendar. And otherwise, just keep in touch. Let me know how the influence is going, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of management. Take care. Bye.